Hey friends, welcome to this video, this minimalism series video, and particularly today delving into what is inside my minimalist wallet. Now, to give you some context here, my minimalism path the seeds were planted in 2013 when I was a huge fan and reader of Leo Babauta's blog, Zen Habits. He was one of those people that I was willing to receive regular emails from that never felt like I had clutter in my email inbox. Over the years, minimalism I've dabbled in and out of. I've been decluttering, and there's a video coming on that because decluttering is not the same as minimalism. Exactly. It's only been the last probably 6 to 12 months have I really embodied a true experience of minimalism, in the sense that I can actually see and internally feel the incredible effects of a life with less. So may I introduce you to my minimalist wallet. Now, this is actually quite a new investment, and it's because my previous wallet was literally falling apart. I think I had it for about 8 years. It was not only falling apart itself, but whenever I used it at a shop, for example, everything would fall out of it. And the reason for that is because it was so empty that everything was so loose inside, including all the cards, and they would literally fall out in my bag or on the shop floor. So it was definitely time to move on. And this beautiful replacement I got is a favorite, and you can see it's quite small and compact, particularly for a female, stereotypically. And I would love to take you through what is inside. Important to note, the reason why I want to share this with you today is purely to offer you some inspiration and motivation to potentially go down this path for yourself, because who does not benefit from simplicity? In case you're wondering, this beautiful wallet, or do you call it a purse? I'm so confused because my handbag, some people call that a purse, I don't know, but you get the gist. This lovely creation is made in Italy, but it's an Australian company, and it's actually made from paper. So this is a vegan investment, if that is of value to you. And it's actually machine washable, which is just the best. The company is Wash Mama. I think that's right. Wash Mama. I'm so sorry if I've just beefed that up. Let's dive in. Okay, here you'll see inside. So it's quite compact and tight. If you are aware of the work of Fumio Sasaki in his book Goodbye Things, now he's a Japanese minimalist. In his book, he really speaks to when we have more storage space, we are more likely to fill it with stuff. And that applies not only to something like your wallet or your bag that you use every day, but your entire home and your living space. So the more space you have to fill, the more storage you have to fill, the more likely you're going to fill it with stuff. Hence why downsizing to this gem was so beneficial. Fortunately, we live in a predominantly cashless society in that we don't have a lot of physical money. So that does make this process a little easier than what it would have, say, 30 years ago. All right, naturally I have my Australian driver's license. Next up, I have a Visa debit banking card with the bank that I banked with for many years, and we've slowly made the transition to a new bank, but we still do keep this because it's really convenient that I can access a physical branch on the rare occasion that I need to. We do still have our mortgage with this particular bank, so for that reason, having a free everyday account is kind of convenient and useful for the time being, but I would say that in the future that will be eventually gone. Next up, I do have one credit card. Now this is with the same bank that I just mentioned, and I don't use it. I don't use this credit card. I used to, and I actually, because I don't use it, I reduced the limit on it, the amount that you can spend. So it now currently has a limit of only $1,000. And I think I got this when we were going on our honeymoon. So that would have been about 10 years ago. And I got it because I thought that it would be a really smart, convenient thing to have just in case of an emergency. And perhaps you can relate to that. The reason why I haven't cut it up and let it go, although I have thought about contacting the bank and asking them for a refund on the annual fee, considering I don't even use it. We did have an incident a couple of years ago when we were in Greece. We went to an ATM to withdraw money and we couldn't. there was nothing left in the account. A few $1,000s had actually been taken out of that account through online transactions by Menulog, which definitely wasn't us. And again, I just want to reiterate that this was a Visa debit card, so it's generally not covered by insurance or covered for fraud. But fortunately, we were able to prove that this was definitely not us, and the bank did give us the money back, but it did take a week or two. Having this credit card on hand was an amazing security backup. Look, I say that, and we actually didn't end up using it because when the bank gave us the all clear, we moved some money from savings into that everyday account and proceeded to withdraw money from the ATM so that we didn't have to worry too much about the credit card. It was an instance where it could have been a lifesaver to have it, and because we still intend to travel in the future, there's a part of me that does feel as though it could be a really wise decision to have it, particularly for international travel. So the jury's out on this one for the time being, but I definitely see in the future that this will no longer be in existence. We'll see. It might actually be worth removing it from my wallet in everyday life and just keeping it perhaps with my passport. I don't know. What do you think? Moving on, I do have our main everyday banking card with our main bank. Okay, and here is full disclosure. I do still have one rewards card for one of the major grocery stores here in Australia. We are huge advocates for and major supporters of the local organic shops and the farmers markets and the bulk food stores, and this is how we do most of our shopping. But particularly since becoming a parent, there has been a sense of convenience being able to access certain things from one of these major grocery chains, particularly because they have really come leaps and bounds in terms of what they are selling for us to be able to access. So it's just for a few things and I continue to use it. But the real transparency is here that I actually kept hold of this card for a really long time because it was linked to our frequent flyers, which my credit card was also linked to my frequent flyers. And I didn't mention this before, but I can't believe I did this. I used to spend or purchase everything on our credit card. And then every week at the end of the week, I would move money from our general everyday bank account onto the credit card. So I never paid interest on it, but I did this to bank up our frequent flyer points. And look, it actually did get me one international flight and one domestic flight, which was awesome. But when it comes to prioritizing simplicity and minimalism, that effort and all of that time that I spent doing that, no more. It had to go. So therefore, I'm no longer accumulating frequent flyer points, and I therefore am no longer accumulating frequent flyer points on this rewards program because they're no longer associated. And if you, like me, are a fan of Dave Ramsey's work, he says, no one gets abundant and wealthy and gets ahead in life through rewards programs. They are just not designed for us to be the winners. And that was like, yeah, a big reality check. I guess at the end of the day, most of the rewards cards out there that exist are so that companies can track and trace what we buy, what we spend, so they can create statistics and appropriate marketing and learn about their consumers. And I'm not entirely against it, but I'm definitely not an advocate for it. So I'm at the point now where I think this one really, really has to go. I have 2 library cards. We are fortunate enough to sit on the border of 2 councils in our area, and so we can access both of those library systems, and I'm incredibly thankful for that because I use these library cards for myself and for my son all the time. One of my goals for or intentions for 2021 is to not buy any books. Not only do I have so many books already that I need to read, I've been getting new books and books that I want to read from the library, and that feels really, really good because once I'm done, I can clear it out of my space. It doesn't create any more clutter. And also having that deadline to get a book back to the library definitely makes me more motivated and pushed to actually getting through that book. So I'm finding it's a total win-win. In addition, I have our Medicare card. So of course, here in Australia, we are very fortunate to have free healthcare available to us all. And in the hopes that I don't sound entirely hypocritical, I have our private health insurance or private health fund card here as well for our family. So we also pay monthly for health insurance here in Australia. I have a massive internal conflict about this because we pay for really low coverage because we literally rarely use it. We've started to go and do things like chiro and massages and whatnot on a more intentional basis just to use it up, but we actually spend more to have it than what we actually get back in rebates and returns. So I'm really conflicted because the government penalizes you if you don't have paid private health insurance, which to me just seems very contradictory to having a free health insurance scheme. And we as a family are really not a burden on the health system. And I really think that private health insurance should be very much like your car insurance. You know, you get a no claims discount, for example, if you are healthy. How are we promoting health? But hey, that's a whole other conversation altogether. All right, and in closing, I have our Opal travel card. So this is standard to get around on public transport in Australia. I have an H&M 15% off discount card thing for dropping off some old textiles and clothes into their donation bin. And no doubt I will use that up at some point and that will be gone out of my wallet. I do have this loyalty card. It's the only loyalty card I have, and it is for the place that I get my hair cut, which, as you can see, does not happen very often. And you pay for 8 haircuts and you get 1 free. So I'm actually 2 haircuts away. I think that what I'll do is I will use it and then I will let it go, because I would much rather the space in my wallet than taking maybe 3 years to get another haircut. It just doesn't seem logical. I also have this warranty card, which I got very recently as I replaced the battery in my watch. And this lasts for 2 years. So if I have any issues with that battery, I can get a replacement. But in all honesty, I think I'm gonna let it go because, again, I really think it's unlikely it's going to happen, and it's not a huge expense to get a new battery anyway. So yeah, this one can probably go. And finally, of course, I've got coins. And it's quite rare that I have coins, and to be honest with you, I really don't know why I do. I cannot remember. That's how long they've been sitting here for. It must have been on a rare occasion that I had cash for something and I thought, hey, I'll use it up, and I got some change. And as I dip inside here as well, I have a safety pin. So that is probably as a backup plan, because I study a form of classical Indian dance called Odissi, and we often use those to help assist with keeping our sari in place. So that is not a bad little convenience item that doesn't take up a lot of space. I probably don't need it in here anyway. There you have it, guys. I hope this offered you some inspiration. And in all transparency, going through this with you, it doesn't feel very minimal, but I guess if I reflect back from where I've come from, not just in the last year or two, but in years of my life, and particularly thinking back to my 20s, this is actually really, really minimal. Of course, I could condense it down even more, but as I said at the start of the video, having something small and compact in size really helps me stay disciplined in keeping this very, very contained. I would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below. What has been most inspiring for you? What has been your process in terms of going through your wallet, maybe downsizing or minimizing even your bag? And that is a great idea for another video as well, taking you through my little daily handbag that I carry around to show you how simplified that has become now also. Thanks so much for sticking around, and I'll see you soon.